Good day to everyone who is joining us today from all around the world. I'm Danny, JCI APDC counselor from JCI Singapore. I welcome all of you to JCI APDC Connects Together Future Forward. In this session, we are grateful to have the presence of JCI Secretary General, Senator Kevin Hin. Good day to you, Mr. SG Kevin. We are very honored to have you with us here today.
Good day, everyone. Thank you for this kind invitation and greetings from Monaco.
So, before we start the session, SG Kevin, how are you currently at your home country at Monaco? And I hope everything is getting better at your side.
Yes, it is, fortunately. I spent the first 7 weeks of the year traveling non-stop around the world. And then on the 20th of February, I came back from my last trip in Istanbul, Turkey, where I was attending the World Business Angels Investment Forum, which is one of our new partners. And came back to Monaco. I was expecting to be resting for 3 weeks, and it turns out I've been resting for nearly 4 months now. So the world came to a standstill, and of course, in very tragic circumstances. Fortunately, Monaco went quickly into a very strict lockdown. We had lots of cases at the beginning, like there were 10 new cases every day, but luckily it stagnated as I think we're on 99 cases now. Since February, there haven't been any new cases for the last month or so, and 4 deaths, 3 of them non-residents of Monaco. So luckily it's been well contained. Lockdown finished 1 month ago, like on the 4th of May, but I'm still being very careful about what I do and where I go. I'm not planning to take planes for a while for the moment, and restaurants opened on the 3rd of June. So I'm waiting a little bit to be able to go out, because we all need to adapt to a new normal regardless and still keep our guards up, because this pandemic is not over yet.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, anyway, it's very good to hear that you are coping well with the pandemic right now. And I think same goes with everyone of here right now. So we have to adapt to the new norm. Okay, so let's kickstart today's session. SG Kevin, could you share with us more on your JCI journey with us, and how and when did you join JCI?
So I joined JCI in Monaco in November 2003 as a candidate member. So that's nearly 17 years ago now. So I was 24, nearly 25 when I joined, which was great, which was a great age, because I actually had 15 full years as a JCI member, which was really good. And I basically joined because, just so you know my background, I'm originally from the UK. I was born in London, and I moved to Monaco with my parents when I was 10 years old. So I did my school in Monaco, in a French school. And when I passed my A-levels equivalent, I went back to the UK to study. So I studied at the University of York and then at the London School of Economics. I was away for 6 years. And when I came back with a master's degree in 2002, I didn't know anybody in Monaco. So after a while, I got to hear about JCI. I'd seen articles in newspapers about lots of JCI projects, and it seemed really cool and dynamic, except I had no idea what JCI was. I thought it was only for entrepreneurs and only for locals and like Monegasque citizens, which I am not. I'm a UK citizen. And actually, I met somebody who became a friend of mine who told me about a training which was taking place at JCI, because he had just joined. And it was a training about yield management dispensed by Sir Stelios Hadjiioannou, who is the founder of EasyJet, which is a big low-cost airline, the equivalent of AirAsia in Asia Pacific, basically, like very successful airline now. And so he was talking about the yield management concept. So I missed that session, but I figured, yeah, any organization which has good keynote speakers like this and has interesting topics should be interesting to join. So I joined it in 2003, mainly because I wanted to make friends. And then I rose through the ranks afterwards, like I'll be talking about a bit in the ranks. So I spent 15 years as an active member. And then in my first year as a non-active member, I was lucky enough to be appointed as SG, as JCI Secretary General. So here I am today.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing your amazing JCI career with us. And uh, before that, I would like to congratulate you once again for successfully being inducted as a JCI Secretary General.
Thank you so
So,
much.
so I believe that during these 15 years as an active JCI members, you are not. I think you're not regretful. I mean, like you learn a lot during the way, right? So can you share with us the various opportunities offered by JCI, and could you enlighten us on the various opportunities that is aligned with JCI?
Thank you for that. Yes, indeed. I apologize in advance if this answer is slightly longer. But yeah, this is something which is, I feel, important to elaborate on, and it's the main topic of this talk. It's like how JCI can provide our members with opportunities to grow. And simply, my philosophy behind it is very simple. JCI changed my life in a really positive manner. It helped me get out of my comfort zone. When I joined JCI in 2003, I attended a JCI Monaco new members induction, and I was in a room with 10 people, and I was one of 10 new members, and I was one of the last to speak. And around this round table, everybody was introducing themselves, and I was dreading the moment when I had to speak because I was so scared of public speaking, especially in French, which is not my first language by any means. And you know, and JCI helped me progressively, step by step, get out of my shell, assume new leadership, and it helped. I knew that I wanted to become a leader one day, and to run my own business and to manage teams and to basically run a company or run a business department or a business unit. But I had no idea how, and I hadn't never been given opportunities when I was 25 to be able to do it. And JCI helped me do all that. And believe I'm still not the finished article by any means either. Every day, even in my current position, I am still learning and I'm still growing. And but I've learned to turn challenges and negatives into positives and opportunities for growth each time. And what I want to give the members now as JCI Secretary General, and what I want to empower my whole team at JCI headquarters to do, is to give the 150,000 members that we have currently exactly the same opportunities as a JCI career that I was lucky enough to have, and also help the young leaders who are coming in now with their latent skills to be able to make these skills explode into the open and give them the opportunities that I have had as well. So basically, what we're looking at now is highlighting the 4 areas of development opportunity that a member can get. Over the past few years, I always believed that at JCI local organizations, we've been able to empower members in different ways, but JCI globally has been inconsistent in its messaging. If you go to some national organizations, JCI is a place for established entrepreneurs to meet and to do community and charity actions, and therefore help the greater good. In other countries, JCI is perceived as a business networking organization for young professionals to meet and to network and to give each other business, which is not what JCI is, clearly. In other cases, it's a place where members come in and train and develop their skills to train as trainers and to create their own training businesses. That's not what we're here to do either. And in other countries, JCI is seen as ways where people meet for barbecues on weekends and they fundraise to do charity work. That's certainly not what we want to do either. So what we do want to do is a blend of each, and which is why we have in our constitution 4 areas of opportunity, which are business and entrepreneurship, individual development, community impact, and international cooperation. So I'm going to go into this in a bit more detail, but before, I want to say that with all this is in line with our new tagline. Last year, we changed our tagline. Previously, it was Global Leadership of Young Active Citizens. And I've always encountered the problem when I go around to partners in the Monaco government and say that JCI is an organization of young active citizens. Sorry, what's an active citizen? Then I have to spend 15 minutes explaining what an active citizen is, and I'm still not sure that people understand what it is. Before, JCI was defined as a global organization for young leaders and entrepreneurs. And I believe that that's not necessarily what we are either, because that makes a barrier and makes it only for entrepreneurs, people who own their own businesses. And that's not the case either. If it had been only for entrepreneurs, I would not have been able to join when I was 25. So I like to use the term that JCI should be the global leading network of enterprising young citizens. It's people with an enterprising mind who have a can-do attitude, who can look for solutions elsewhere, and who do want to become leaders in the future. That way it does not close any doors. So the previous term of, and this is where developing leaders for a changing world comes in. When we were talking about global leadership of young active citizens, it was basically trying to be a grassroots organization of getting 18 and 22-year-olds to come and help JCI do community projects worldwide and Operation Hopes and campaigns and Peace is Possible, and then change the world. It was very idealistic. And so focusing on the positive change side of a mission. With a new tagline, we're still maintaining positive change, but we're looking at adding value to our members. Members are paying $13 a year to JCI worldwide. That's $1.08 a month. That's not a huge amount, but it's still an amount. Members are paying $200 or $300 or whatever dollars, depending on their country, or in some countries they're paying $1,500 a year to their local and national organizations. So we need to figure out what added value are we giving. And this is all about having consistent message. What can JCI give people? The way I see it is JCI is the leading global organization for enterprising young leaders. And to do that, we are aiming to get in young people like I was 20 or 17 years ago at the age of 23 or 25 or 1 or 2 years of professional experience. We amplify their skills during the course of their JCI career, thanks to the 4 areas of opportunity. And then when they are ready, after their or during their JCI career, the JCI skills will be able to help them become leaders in government, in business, or in civil society, or help them establish their own company or their business, or or help become involved in politics or in local politics or national politics, and then they can become vectors of positive change in the world. So instead of helping the community directly, JCI must help individuals, make them strong, give them great values, and then develop a community. So how can we establish the 4 areas of opportunity? The first of them I'm going to talk about is business and entrepreneurship. We don't necessarily want to be a business networking organization, but what we do want to do is create leaders who are business savvy, who know how to read a balance sheet, who know how to manage a budget, who know how to create an idea, how to create a marketing plan, who know how to pitch a project in the future. And just by organizing business, any JCI project, even a community-based project, requires a minimum amount of business skills. Like, you need to have a budget, you need to look for sponsors, you need to know how to sell, you need to know how to develop an elevator pitch for your project as well. And otherwise it doesn't work. So these are skills which we can develop over time, like how to run an event, how to sell an event effectively, how to create an event so that members will actually pay, or external audiences will pay to join this event. Like, we're looking at Creative Young Entrepreneur Award in JCI Malaysia, which was launched last year. That's involved not just entrepreneurship as a topic, but you needed to be enterprising to create a project like that. So this is what I mean by business and entrepreneurship. The networking side comes later, and I think that's a point I'll address later on after the next, this section is over. Like JCI, once you are established as a credible leader in JCI, business will come automatically because you'll have developed your own personal brand and your reputation. So this is how we see business and networking in the future. This also links to the international area of opportunity too, which means that with a global network you have, doors will open to your international business as well. Now, the international area of opportunity is fantastic. It's all about finding like-minded young people and young leaders around the world. You can go to the Asia Pacific Conference. You can go to the Asian Academy, organized by JCI Singapore, I know that you had an amazing trainer last year in the person of Victoria Marson, who's like one of our top European trainers, our former executive vice president, who really gets you out of your comfort zone, but in a comforting and caring manner, which is all his own style. Yeah, so you can join the Asian Academy, you can join the World Congress, take part in a global village, or go to a European conference, and you can even do it online, like the European conference will be done online this year. So, and maybe that is the future of JCI events as well. So this is a great way to meet virtually or in person enterprising young leaders from around the world, develop cultural awareness, and also help your business and networking in the future too, potentially. And also work on cross-border collaboration thanks to twinning and using the new IT platform, which we're hoping to launch next year at JCI, which will give added value. Now, the individual development side is also very important. Now, when we talk about individual development, it's not just about becoming a trainer and building up your training business. One of the first things that I did when I joined JCI was I started to attend training courses. One of the first training courses I attended was about public speaking, and it was run by at the time, the only person at JCI Monaco who had been a JCI vice president in 2001. So that was in 2004. So that was only 3 years earlier. And a gentleman called Gérald Moine, who was a former national president in Monaco. And he inspired me a lot just in terms of public speaking. And that helped me get out of my comfort zone and rise in the organization. So this is what individual development is all about. We are trying to develop more and more trainings now to be able to establish in 1 or 2 years JCI as a benchmark, not just for members, but also for external partners and other people outside of JCI to learn about JCI, where we will develop masterclasses in what we are best at: global leadership, global entrepreneurship, global networking, global advocacy, even how to address global challenges around the world, especially in the light of this pandemic, giving the tools and added value to members to be able to leverage our global network in order to be successful. So this is what our ambition is in 1 or 2 years, to be a pole of excellence. And in general at JCI, we must be poles of excellence. We cannot settle for being the lowest common denominator and for being second best. We must be the best in order to be, we must have the best members. We must have the best talent. We must nurture the best future leaders who will make the world a better place in the future. This is how we could do. We must not settle for second best, because otherwise we will be mediocre and we will disappear as an organization. We must always aim for constant excellence and set the bar higher from 1 year to the next. And this is the whole mindset we want to instill in our members. Finally, from a community perspective, again, let's go beyond cliches. Community is not picking up trash in the street or going to wave peace flags and walking in the street. That is one part of the community side, but it must not just be seen as a way as that kind of cliche-driven manner. Helping the community is helping to maintain strong economies. It's supporting local businesses. In the face of this pandemic, for example, lots of local businesses, which are the heart and soul of the communities. If you go to Bangladesh or to India or even in Singapore, the small businesses in Little India or in Chinatown, like the small family businesses, or on Arab Street, for example, these small businesses are the ones that hold the communities alive. And if they shut down, communities will disappear and they will lose their soul. And if you take the example of Italy, for example, if we do not support the local butcher or the local grocery store or the local newsagent in the small villages in the hinterlands, like 20 kilometers from where I live, there's some small villages, all these shops are closing down and the villagers will die because they will need to take their cars to the local supermarkets and they will move to the big cities afterwards. So this is what I mean by community values and how JCI can support the communities. It's all about economic relevance. So any projects which support economic sustaining and rebuilding economies are also community projects. So let's not try to, like, there are lots of other organizations like the Let's Do It campaign that do cleaning up much better than we do. For me, it's a waste of a talent of enterprising young leaders to do this sort of thing. We can promote these projects, but it's not up to us to organize it. We're trying to aim for people who can change the world in the future. So this is how I would see the 4 areas of opportunity. Now, bringing them together, just to conclude this part, everybody joins for one of these 4 reasons: making new friends, developing their personal leadership skills, developing their business network or encouraging, supporting their business, or making change for the greater good. I joined to make new friends. I quickly made new friends, which was great because I loved the vibe at JCI, and luckily people liked me as well, fortunately. And then afterwards, I started taking personal development courses, public speaking. I started passive projects which enhanced my leadership skills, and it didn't come overnight. I had to work hard. I had to overcome some prejudices as well because I was the only Asian person in JCI Monaco, and obviously we have a stereotype of being cold and reserved and things like that. So, well, at least I did. So I had to go beyond these prejudices and develop my charisma. When I did so, I became national president at JCI Monaco after 7 years, and then it helped enhance my business career as well. I started to get jobs because of my personal brand recognition at JCI. I managed to get a job with the Prince of Monaco at the end of my national president year, which I can talk about more afterwards. So that helped me in my professional life. Then, as I became a JCI, a leader on the board of directors and took on international roles, I saw that I could help inspire others, and that's the whole community side and greater good. I see my community action as hopefully inspiring others and sharing my story. It's not about picking up trash in the street. Of course, I do pick up trash in the street. If I do see some litter lying around, I'll pick it up carefully and I'll put it in the bin next door. But it's not about doing campaigns for that. It's all about trying to support other leaders, trying to tap in, to identify the talent in young people who you believe to have strong JCI spirit and values, and helping. So in that way, I went full circle. I first came in to make friends, which is like the international side. Then I developed personal leadership skills, individual development. Then I ended up helping my business and professional career. And then I think I finally got it in 2018 after 15 years. I went full circle and I supported the greater good. So it's all about going full circle. When you are full circle, you do manage to grow full circle. After 10 or 15 years, you're the proper JCI leader, which I feel that I have now achieved only after 15 years or 17 years. The JCI leader is somebody who is business savvy, who knows how to read a balance sheet, who knows how to develop a network, and how to and not necessarily an entrepreneur, but somebody with an enterprising spirit. It's somebody who has strong personal development, who knows how to speak in public, how to manage and lead a team in a certain direction. It's somebody who can leverage an international network, who is good, who is a global networker, who is good at adapting to different cultures and adapting to cultural differences and sensitivities. And finally, and most importantly, it's someone who cares about the community, someone who has solidarity in their genes, who cares about others, who supports others, who is an ethical leader, who will always have strong values like we have in our creed, and who will always uphold these values no matter what can happen and work for the greater good. And this is the JCI leader who can then change the world. So I hope this answers your question about the 4 areas of opportunity, what they can bring to any member in the future. And because this is how they helped me, this is how I believe we should sell JCI in the future. And it's also a really easy way to sell JCI and explain who we are. It's all about being able to empower others and move things forward and adding service to members. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Secretary General Kevin. Your explanation is such amazing and such detail. I think I'm very lucky to get to know JCI, where it's going to be one of the best organization in the world. So definitely, I can't wait to see this. And definitely those members that who is viewing this session with us, please do encourage your friends and everyone to join JCI, because we are just for the age of 18 to 40. So there's a time limit for you all to join as a member. Okay. Next, Secretary General Mr. SG Kevin, could you share with us more how does JCI make positive impact on young leaders, entrepreneurs, and the general public?
Well, I think that really it's all about the image we give and the clear message we deliver. And I'm going to talk more about about our members and then the external side. Regarding how we can support our own members, the young leaders, it's what I just said. It's all about giving them added value. Everybody is investing time and energy into JCI as a volunteer. We're not being paid and we're not here to deliver money, but there's strong latent added value you can give. If you look back, okay, maybe if you join another organization, JCI will give you the other organizations will bring $30,000 of turnover in 1 year through referrals and all that. JCI cannot guarantee that. However, if you stay a strong JCI member, I'm sure that JCI over the course of 10 years might give $3 million in value, not just in business referrals, but in your own value, in your skills. JCI is an MBA, you know, so we're saving $100,000 of doing an MBA just by doing JCI, you know. It's fantastic for that. This is how I would explain why any enterprising young leader or an entrepreneur should join. And it's the same for a partner as well, and government partners and business and civil society. It's all about getting like-minded partners and giving them added value as well. How can we provide them with added value? It's by leveraging our network, giving them access to our network, highlighting the talent of our members and the high quality. It boils to what I was saying before, how JCI must be a pole of excellence in terms of training, in terms of our members, in terms of the opportunities we provide, and in terms of the projects and our global outreach. No other organization can provide what we can, but to do that, we need a global message. We develop leaders for a changing world. We're an organization of enterprising young leaders. We provide development opportunities, but empower young people to generate positive change. This is, as long as we have unifying messages around the world and we focus on the added value we can bring to members and to partners, and not just consider ourselves like a charity or community organization that is here to change the world in that sense directly, and we have a unifying voice, we will prevail and we will be successful. This is how we can bring about positive change to every single one of our stakeholders in the future.
I see. Yeah. Uh, Once again, thank you. So just like I mentioned, you shared with us there's a four areas of opportunities that in JCI. So could you share with us more like which area of opportunity in JCI is close to your heart and why?
Yeah. The four areas of opportunity cannot come individually. They're a whole package, and we need to be. It's like a big it's like a clock face which is split into four quarters. And if you take only one area of opportunity together, it doesn't work. You know, like there's some organizations, as I mentioned, which are only business, and they're like business and training, for example, but no international or community focus. It's not JCI Soul. You take a community-centered organization with some business on the side, there's no JCI Soul in it. We need to be equally promote all four areas. However, I must say that what does bring us together, from my perspective, is the international side. The brotherhood of men transcends the sovereignty of nations. It's the I in JCI that brings it all together. Otherwise, we would be an inward-looking organization. So I was a JCI member for 6 years before I attended my first international event, only because I was forced to, because I was the JCI Deputy National President in 2009. So I figured, I may as well go for it and go to an international event. Fortunately, I did have a notion of what JCI internationally was, because 2 years earlier, we had hosted a European presidents meeting in Monaco. So I had the opportunity to exchange with the JCI president of the time, Scott Greenlee, in 2007. I met the EVP for Europe, Graham Hanlon, who was the JCI president the following year. And I also met Secretary General Kodama, who inspired me a lot in the actions. And I got to meet the plenty of VPs as well, and I got a better understanding of how the international side works too. But if I had not attended this, I spent 6 years pretty much without an understanding of a global organization, and I loved it because I personally am a global citizen. My ancestors left mainland China 150 years ago to go to Mauritius to have a better life, and my parents were born in Mauritius and then moved to England 50 years ago when Mauritius became independent. And I was born in London, and then I've moved to Monaco afterwards when I was 10. So my family are from 3 different continents, and we've got all sorts of different cultures and languages. So I consider myself as a global citizen, which is why the international side has come close to my heart. And it makes my heart bleed when I see national organizations which neglect the international side, like which are totally inward looking. And, in some national organizations, even in international cities, I mean, I see that in JCI Singapore, for example, there are lots of different nationalities, and it's great that you do events in English in order to federate everybody. In other countries, which are multicultural, all the events are only done in French, so it excludes the foreign populations who could help to grow. So, and exclusion is something which I'm fighting in all domains, and it makes my heart bleed to see that the international side is not catered for. At least Singapore, Hong Kong, there's strong opening to the international sides, and in general Asia Pacific. So it's important to really have this global fellowship, which is the heart and soul of JCI. So to answer your question, yes, I believe that all areas of opportunity are complementary, but my heart does go out to the international side, because it's what made me grow truly as a leader and take my leadership. If I'd only become a leader in JCI Monaco, I'd have stayed in Monaco. Now it's helped me become a leader to a certain extent at a global level too. And it's thanks to the International Global Fellowship. Thank you.
So, Mr. SG Kevin, I understand that after you joined 6 years as a active JCI member, and you attended the first international event. So since then, I believe you never stopped of going international events. Am I correct?
Yes, 100% correct. Yes, I've only missed one European conference since then, which was in 2014 in Malta. I've attended all the others since then, and it seems it won't stop. I've attended three Asia Pacific conferences: 2012 in Hong Kong, 2018 Kagoshima, 2019 in Jeju, and tons of world congresses as well. So yes, I love it.
Uh, yeah, I think same goes with me. So I really love international. Since the first day I joined, I been attending international events until now. So definitely, international is the way to go. And I hope that all the JCI members will actively participate in all the conferences, congress, and meet the international friends because international is the way to go.
Yes. If I may just add to that, I always say that if you do 20 years as a JCI member, but you only focus on your local career, you have only tapped into 25% of what JCI can bring you. Even if you're a national president, you're a senator in JCI Singapore or in JCI India or in JCI Japan, you've only touched 25% of the opportunities. To get the other 75%, you need to think global. 150,000 members around the world in 120 countries. The talent pool is enormous. The potential is gigantic. So we just need to leverage this global network, and really it will help us all feel special that way.
Yeah, I totally agree on this, man. All right, so moving on next. Can you share with us like how was your leadership experience of serving various roles in JCI as a national president, local president, and so on, moving up to the world, and now as Secretary General at the HQ level. So what did it change?
Mm. Yeah, thank you for that question. It's I could speak for an hour about that, but I'll keep it short. Because what did it change? Essentially, it changed my life in a good manner. Because seriously, I have no idea what I would be doing now without JCI. Hopefully, I'd still be vaguely successful anyway. But JCI acted certainly as a positive catalyst to it, and 99% of well, I'd say even 100% or 99.9% of what JCI has brought me has been positive. One thing that's important to understand, and what I always tell new members, is that when I joined JCI, I had no idea that I would be having a long career. I figured maybe I'll stay in for 2 or 3 years and then I'll get married and have kids and develop my own business and whatever. Okay. Turns out I stayed for 17 years. I didn't get married. I didn't have any kids or anything, but it gave me other positives instead. And I also had no ambition. My ambition when I joined JCI after 1 year was to take things step by step, see what it can do, and enjoy each position I was in. The ambition was maybe before I turned 40 to become national vice president, which is like a local organization because Monaco is very small, to be the national vice president for growth and development. So I could help motivate others and sell JCI and sell my passion for JCI to others. It turns out I never became National VP for Growth and Development at JCI Monaco. I had loads of other roles, but I never managed to do it. But I'm still trying to support growth and development at JCI Monaco in my own humble capacity elsewhere. So I always felt that I made sure I enjoyed the moment, and I took steps forward when I felt right or when I was asked to, or when I was encouraged to, or when I felt empowered to. For example, I had my first national board position only 3 years after I was a member because I ran a hotel for those first 3 years, and I was working 17 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I couldn't really take an active part in JCI events. Actually, if I had wanted to, I probably could have done, and I should have done, because I always believe that you can do things where there's a will, there's a way. But at the time, there was not enough will, and I didn't even know about it. So I do regret that, just as I regret not going to more international events before 2009. So yeah, each position brought me new things. When I was a JCI Vice President, National VP for Programs in 2007, I was in charge of all the projects. So I set up a new methodology and I was managing a team. And I thought, wow, if I look at it back now, it was a small position, but at the time it was massive for me. I was 29 years old. I was in a different position at JCI level, and it was a leadership position for me. So it was absolutely fascinating. So I learned a lot from that. Then the year after, I became national treasurer, and I had no idea. I'm not an accountant. I've got a finance degree, but I'm not really an accountant or anything like that. But my national president, who worked in finance, she was not an accountant either, but we supported each other. We had great teamwork, and it helped me get a great understanding of how the internal finances worked and how I could enhance finances. And these are skills which I still use to this day as JCISG to try to increase our business logic and our revenue streams. And this is how I decided to run for national president, and I got out of my comfort zone the year after. I had to run against another candidate who was really strong, less experienced than me, but native French speaker, very charismatic female lawyer. And so I had to really, really work hard for it. So that also pushed me out of my comfort zone. My national president year helped me develop my leadership skills to an exponential degree, and public speaking, leadership. And I felt that I was a better leader after 365 days in this position than I was before. And most importantly, I did feel that JCI Monaco was in a better position on the 31st of December 2010 than it was on the 1st of January. So that was exactly 10 years ago, incidentally, which time flies. Same as a COC managing director for European conference, which was the first ever sold out European conference. I learned how to sell JCI. I learned how to sell Monaco, the principality, as a destination, and I was acting like an ambassador for my JCI country, and so that developed all sorts of new skills. Same as a VP, it developed my sales skills at JCI VP. It made me become a salesperson, which also enhanced my confidence the year after, where I got a job traveling around Europe in sales, promoting the APM Monaco jewelry brand with different customers in duty-free businesses and with big major department stores like Robinson's in Singapore and things like that. And the skills I learned as a JCI VP were essentially the skills I applied subsequently as a deputy sales director for jewelry brand. And same, the skills I learned as a jewelry brand in my job there, thanks to a good professional mentor, helped me enhance my JCI skills as well, which really helped me when I was an EVP for Europe, Executive Vice President for Europe in my final active year in 2018, because I was able to enhance my sales skills. But being an EVP is like a CEO of JCI Europe. So I was managing the budget, the finances. So it was like essentially CEO experience. And what I'm doing now as a JCI Secretary General, it's the same. I'm essentially the Chief Executive Officer of JCI headquarters. So I have to manage a team, give them objectives and key results and key performance indicators, develop a long-term vision and strategy for the organization, and manage the finances and the whole business side of JCI too, whilst engaging with members on the ground and making them feel special. So there's a whole sales component, there's a whole general management component, there's the budget component. Basically, this current job, which I'm really, really grateful for, is a huge leadership training for me as well. And I'm not doing it by myself. I have a wonderful team, and my goal is to empower my own team and make them feel special as well, make them follow my lead them in a direct manner, in a manner where they will be able to feel empowered and maximize their talent to share with the members and help out achieve our common goals. So I'm actually doing lots of work and personal coaching with my team right now to make sure to keep their spirits up when the going gets tough as well. So it's helping my coaching skills a lot too. So yes, personal development, just to go back to members on the ground, this is just my story, but I would recommend that enjoy the moment. Don't be too ambitious. I never dreamt of becoming a VP until like 1 or 2 years before. Like the EVP position, I started thinking about it only when I was a VP. I didn't think about the SG position until the position came up, and the opening was made last summer, and I just figured I'd apply because I felt I had the necessary skills and experience to do a good job, both professionally and with JCI. And fortunately, I was selected by the committee. So yeah, just take things step by step. Don't be over ambitious. Do not overstretch. Enjoy the moment. Don't think about the next step. But for example, if you're an APDC development officer, don't dream of becoming a councillor. Just do your best as a development officer. Empower the members on the ground. Put smiles on their faces. Try to develop partners. If you're the development officer assigned, for example, JCI Myanmar, make sure that your targets are reached and that JCI Myanmar becomes fully affiliated in a few years. Same with JCI, if you're assigned to a new country, JCI Timor-Leste, the same. Make sure that Timor-Leste is built on solid foundations and that you satisfy all your goals and go beyond your calling as a development officer. Then the next step, if you have time to become a councillor, you will become a councillor and you will lead the team. And I'm sure that councillors Anirudh and Danny will be able, you'll be able to share your great experience of leading this team of 7 or 8 development officers. Then maybe you can become a chair, then maybe you can become national president or VP or EVP one day, or maybe even become JCI president. Like I know Kamada-san, after being APDC chair, became JCI Japan national president, you know. But everything is done step by step. Optimize what you can. Make your members and your team members feel special. Make everybody notice you. Don't try too hard to make yourself notice, but just work hard and achieve your goals. That's how people will notice you. And be yourselves. Don't try to be somebody else. Be yourselves. Stay true to JCI values. Always support. Stay consistent. Be honest. Be trustworthy. Always be forthright and stay close to your values. Never backstab anybody to be able to get to positions. Never turn your back on your friends, and always forget to support all those who put you in the position, and the friends who supported you from the first day are the ones who you need to keep around you the most. Not the new friends. That's the advice I can give to new members to have a successful JCI career. Also in business, it applies too.
Thank you very much, Secretary, for your amazing advice. I think, all of us need to take step by step, or even though in JCI or career or in personal life as well. I think definitely it's very good, great advice from you. Okay. Currently there's pandemic, COVID-19 hit us badly, and especially in JCI, a lot of our events are being held, cancelled, postponed, and so on. So what kind of change in strategy can be made in JCI for the post-COVID period?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question, which I'll hopefully be able to elaborate on a little. Well, this was a huge challenge for me as well, like taking over JCI headquarters after 6 weeks, getting COVID, and actually, when we began the strategy, I had a whole strategy in place with a team to implement the 2020 plan of action, but also focus on the tagline, making the members feel special, and changing the focus of all of our actions at JCI headquarters to be member-centric. So the motto I gave my team was 2020 is a new decade, which requires a new mindset, which will present new challenges and from which we can take new opportunities. And, the new challenges, we certainly got them. But, however, from these, we can derive new opportunities. And this is the mindset. It's not even the impulsion we're giving. It's the natural mindset that I've seen from all the members on the ground. Of course, everybody at the beginning was a bit shell-shocked. How can we save lives? How can we preserve our businesses? How can we maintain the survival of JCI when we're still trying to make sure that our families can still eat, you know? So these are questions that lots of people have been asking, and I know lots of national organizations in Europe were asking me this question. JCI is totally irrelevant now. Why are we doing trainings when we're still trying to survive? And then they saw that JCI is all about transforming challenges into opportunities, and how we can leverage these opportunities to change the image of JCI and accelerate our transformation. Our 2019 to 23 strategic plan is all about accelerating transformation, getting things digital, bringing things online. And, you know, this has been done organically and naturally. We've been talking about online trainings, and I can imagine if we actually were to bring trainings, official JCI trainings like Discover, like Explore, like the Future Adventure, if we were to bring them online in normal circumstances, we would have had tons of bureaucratic hurdles. In this case, what we just did, XCOM vote, 4 days later, everything was put online, and we announced it to the national presidents at the end of March. JCI members have shown creativity and resources and mental agility, and all we're doing is following. So we can see now with the online conferences which are taking place, instead of just curling into a hole and saying, oh, sorry, the European conference was cancelled, we decided to empower the members, like JCI headquarters, not being strongly involved in this project. We're just maintaining basic quality control and support, but we're encouraging the European members to be creative and to show what they can do and what JCI can do at a global level. Get out of their shell. JCI headquarters is not here to prevent members from doing what they want. It's to encourage them to do so. So globally, what's JCI headquarters been doing? But what we did not do is do a global charity campaign to raise money for face masks and ventilators. It's not that we don't care about it. It's because we're not good at it, and we must only amplify what we're best at. So JCI Uganda, JCI Japan, JCI Malaysia, we're all doing national campaigns and local campaigns to raise money for face masks. The money raised was on the ground after 1 week, helping to buy face masks. And we helped relay the information to support these projects on the ground. If we had done a global Operation Hope, it would have been fantastic PR for us, but it would have taken 2 months or 3 months for the masks to be on the ground. Like right now, the masks probably would still not be there. And, you know, at a time when masks are no longer useful, you know, so that's no point of doing it. And oh yes, would have had an amazing PR, but we wouldn't have saved any lives and would have used tons of resources from the HQ team, which would have been better spent elsewhere and were better spent elsewhere. So the executive committee decided not to do it, but instead to relay the action of the members on the ground. And this goes exactly in the direction we're going now. We are no longer here to impose top-down campaigns on members, which are not necessarily appropriate. We had huge problems about the Peace as Possible campaign in Europe and huge resistance because nobody found it relevant, because countries are not at war, and also because we're not a global charity. So there was no point in it, which is why we've put that on hold right now. We prefer to relay actions which impact members on the ground and give them added value. When JCI headquarters was pushing Peace as Possible to countries like JCI Monaco, it basically told, or countries in Northern Europe or Germany, it basically ruled out the message that JCI headquarters is not listening, doesn't care about what our members, so is that offering no added value? So members no longer traveled internationally, and that's a big problem, what we don't want to do. Now, what we are doing in the future is trying to find a global unifying idea, not necessarily a campaign, which federates all members around the world. Now, The pandemic has touched every single country in the world and is a common enemy. And it's also going to have a huge economic impact. So what can JCI members do? It's all about sustaining and rebuilding economies in the future. What we're planning to do after discussing with President Itai is working on regaining livelihoods, restoring businesses, motivating the workforce, and maintaining sound mental health, because people are suffering all around the world from being under lockdown, and there are lots of suicides. So we need to focus on these aspects: mental health, motivating the workforce, and rebuilding economies and redynamizing employment by supporting entrepreneurship, by supporting local consumption, by supporting the small business in Little India, in Singapore, and really helping young people to show that being employed is not a fatality, but also that they can create their own businesses and evaluate the needs. So I will conclude on that point. This is how JCI will show its relevance, encouraging national organizations to focus on projects that will sustain and rebuild economies. At the same time, it will help enhance our global credibility as an organization which is not utopian or naive and idealistic, but one which is anchored in solid economic reality and realism, where we can actually support organizations and partners to grow and to help further the economy and therefore further the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And it's not by dreaming that we can help the SDGs, it's by working in a pragmatic manner and really helping things with concrete actions that will help sustain and rebuild economies. I will conclude on that point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, SG Kevin. Thank you for the amazing sharing about what will happen to JCI in the post-COVID. And yeah, I think we are done here. So thank you very much, SG Kevin, for your time. And I hope that all the members from all around the world who is watching with us right now could share out this message to your friends, your JCI friends, even though they are not members. Ask them to come and sign up as a member of JCI and to be part of our family members. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. And indeed, I agree with what you say. JCI is a life-changing experience. So don't hesitate, just sign up. Don't think too much, just do it. And you won't regret it. Thank you.
Oh, you know what I understand JCI stands for just come in. Don't ask, just come in.
Just come in, just change it.
Okay, exactly. Thank you very much, SG Kevin.
The best is yet to come, so don't hesitate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and have a nice day.